Okay.
Bryan Kobel is the CEO
I like it.
of TC BioPharm Holdings, stock symbol TCBP. One of my favorite guys in the world, because this guy will tell you what he's going to do, and then he does it. He's moving chess pieces, and the future of cancer and infectious diseases lies in Bryan's hand. That's it. I'm investing all of my money.
His new movie is Bryan
not the
Saves
company,
the World.
Bryan. Bryan, how are you, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm good, man. I'm in London. I feel like you guys only put me on when I'm here. Maybe you don't want me in studio. But that said, after that conversation, probably a good thing I'm not in studio.
Well,
so.
Sebastian Cabot was from London.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Mr. French.
Or the, what was the other one? The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. Pretty sure the Ghost was from London.
Oh, now you're going way back.
Bryan, since you fled the country and went to England, tell me what's going on. Actually, I'm kidding you. You've got something that is novel. I've spent a lot of time talking to you about it off the air. TCB 008 is a platform for multiple diseases. I think that's the key word here, because and I'm not sure that you went out to treat multiple diseases or if that was a sidecar. But man, that's really interesting. Talk about what you guys are doing now, and talk about what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, it was 100% a sidecar. The plan was to take TCB 008 and go after all blood cancers because of how the gamma delta operates and reacts to that isopentenyl pyrophosphate, which is emitted by all sick and disease cells, including tumors. What we ended up seeing was, almost as an adjunct, a response in fungal infections in some of the patients we saw with AML in our phase 1 trial. It wasn't anything we really dug into or had real data on, but it got us thinking about it. And from there, we ended up expanding out and making it, maybe now a next step into antifungals with Neil McCarthy's lab, going after patients that are immune suppressed, immune compromised, giving them TCB 008 as a prophylactic. So we're in the process now of building out what that clinical trial would look like, the preclinical work you have to do. Hoping to get that in the clinic by the end of the year / early 2025. We should have proof of concept from Neil showing responses in Candida and Aspergillus, which are really, really nasty fungal infections. You really only get them if you have some type of immune suppression, immune compromised situation, like an AML patient who's living, a boy in the bubble type life. So, it's a huge market to start talking about that dynamic where this product could potentially be not just anti-cancer, anti-tumor, but also going after fungal infections. And anybody who's getting cancer and is getting chemo is getting TCB 008 to protect the system and protect them from all these other diseases.
The fungal thing, there goes Absorbing Junior's market share out the window.
Nice call. Bryan, the inflection point.
So we're talking about 60, 70 shows. I had an Absorbing Junior for fungal athlete's foot.
Yeah. The inflection points for this year, the rest of this year, and also 2025, how are they looking for TCB?
We just keep executing. It's kind of crazy. We were able to pull in some money this month on a warrant exercise from one of our investors, which obviously helps us. We're on track to get proof of concept from Neil's lab on Aspergillus candida. We should begin redosing the ACHIEVE trial relatively soon, dotting I's, crossing T's with our CRO just to get the sites back up and running, making sure everybody's still on the same page, all good. So we should have data actually to talk about by the end of the year in TCB 008 in AML patients.
Hey Bryan, can we talk about the cell therapy space? Because you guys are a leader in the cell therapy space. And that is what's interesting is because we broadcast all over the world and all over the country. We're in a very biotech world here in San Diego, California, and we're hearing more and more in the business pages about cell therapy. Now, it's cost prohibitive. It's the tip of the spear, but you guys tend to be a leader in that. Talk about why that might work.
Yeah, it's cost prohibitive now, right? But that's true of all technologies, right? It used to be the only guy with a cell phone was that guy from Hot Tub Time Machine on a mountain, some Wall Street broker, right?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Everywhere.
Nice pull, by the way. Yeah. I'm voting for him next year.
Yeah, we really need him in studio.
Yeah, we need him here. He needs to live here. I told you guys. He's one of us. There's only two types of people: double wide, single wide. He's a double wide, just like us. But talk about that, because it's cost prohibitive now, because it's not bioavailable next to the hospital, because you got to make the stuff somewhere else. You got 2 minutes to get to the hospital, and suddenly there's a ton of problems with that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's twofold, right? One is, to your point, the logistics are a nightmare, especially when you go autologous, right? So you have to go to the patient, take their blood, ship it to whatever manufacturing site, then ship it back, all do it in a really tight window. That's really expensive. Additionally, if you're doing it autologously, your patient population is much smaller, right? Not everybody who's gone through these chemotherapy drugs and everything else, or they're just not healthy enough to go through the autologous process. So you're treating 20% of the patients out there. So we both know you have to get your bang for your buck and get the economies of scale there. And the way you do that from a margin perspective at that point is you charge an arm and a leg. There's some manufacturing things as well, too.
Let me tell you what's interesting about you guys is that I don't tend to talk about stock prices or financials here on the program, but I'll tell you what, you have a shareholder base, institutionally and retail-wise, that responds to your news. And for being sort of where you are on the arc of that FDA scale, that tells me you're going to have some loyal people with you when those press releases start getting better and better. So I think you're doing it right. Bryan Kobel, or as Greg likes to say,
Kobel.
Doesn't matter what Bryan wants.
He's saying it wrong.
CEO of TC BioPharm Holdings, TCBP. Bryan, we'll see you next week.